Welcome everybody to another episode of HomeKit Insider. You've got me, your host as always, and I am both thrilled and tired to be talking to you guys today. Happy event week, right? This is dropping on Monday the 8th, which is ahead of Apple's Tuesday event. It's dropping iPhone 17 event. I am beyond hyped this year. Not only do I feel like this is like a larger upgrade cycle than usual, right? Because we're going to have like the new form factor with the Air. I do believe that the Pros are going to have like more changes than usual going on. We're also going to get like 3 new Apple Watches, finally new AirPods Pro, like a whole bunch of really great stuff. And, best of all, I'm going to be out there covering it in person. So make sure you guys are following me on like TikTok and YouTube and as well as Twitter. And I can bring you guys like all the news as it's happening from out there. So really exciting stuff. I'm pretty hyped for. So happy event week to all that celebrate. I hope everyone, like, I actually used to, before having to like work and go to them, I had like routines that I would do to cover them. Like I was writing articles and producing videos like on the fly as stuff was happening like years and years ago. And then as I started working, my wife would like order me food and it was so nice. And now it's the point where I'm like, I don't even get to eat like on event days. Like it's just too much stuff going on. But, I hope everyone else does something fun. You get a chance to relax and watch it when you get home or watch it live, whatever you're going to do. But yeah, I hope everyone has some fun. There's some surprises there, and I think it's going to be a good event. So some really great stuff there. But this episode, right, and before we even get into any of the Apple stuff on next week's episode, this episode is going to be all about IFA, right? IFA is taking place up until the 9th in Berlin. So I think it goes like the 3rd to the 9th. And in some ways, it is like the largest tech show that is out there, right? Like CES is huge. It's massive. But with IFA, it is also open to the public. So you also have like a massive influx of people, their kids going, which I think is just so cool because some of these like tech demos that I see at CES would be like really great for like children to be experience them. But like CES is all for industry folk, media, stuff like that. So your average person does not get to come in and see like the future of technology. I mean, they rely on, I guess, people like me to bring them that coverage and tell them what is cool and what is not. But IFA is a little bit different and allows the public to come in. So there's Media Days first, which is where we get a lot of the news that I'm going to break out in this episode. And then the last few days are more for kind of the public and kind of consuming what has actually been announced. So there's some insanely cool stuff here because there's a lot. IFA in particular focuses a lot on sustainability as well as like the home and the smart home. So there is a laundry list of announcements to get through. So I am going to legitimately do my best because I guarantee I am missing things because there is a lot to talk about. So let's get into it. I'm going to tell you what I like, what I don't like, and some of the really cool stuff that is coming out this year. Okay, I got a few different sets of notes that I am pulling from for this, but let's get some of the bigger high-level ones first. So first up, the CSA, the organization behind Matter, in conjunction with the Wi-Fi allowance, has finalized the Wi-Fi spec for Matter. There's a lot of things in play here. They're really focusing on access points with this first initial launch. But there's a lot of extra layers going in on this. But I think the main takeaway that you all as consumers should care about is that with Matter and Wi-Fi coming together and formalizing that, it's going to be able to make your devices work more reliably with Wi-Fi. And that is a significant pain point right now for the smart home and one of the limiting factors because the whole point of Matter, right, is that things just work. It should be that easy of setting up your devices and controlling them, of them just working. And it typically has not been the case. We're getting there, but it has not been the case. So with Matter and Wi-Fi coming together, you should have a much more seamless experience because your Wi-Fi network is going to be guaranteed to work with smart home devices. Like there were times when, I don't want to like name drop the wrong company, so I won't say the name of the router company, but there was like a router company for a while that just didn't work with HomeKit devices. Like for some reason, there was something that was like blocking all of those things. It was a significant problem. And then you have other people who have different sets of routers that have problems with like the 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz. Then they go into weird things like, well, you better name them separately. And I'm like, no. You should not have to do that. You should not need to name your Wi-Fi network different names for 2, 4, and 5 than you have to manually switch like your phone in between and things aren't acting up right. It's just not how it should be. So with Wi-Fi and Matter, this stuff should just be sorted out and smooth and easy. So it's going to have like really good security, like WPA3, guaranteed Wi-Fi 6 and later. And again, focusing on access points for this initial rollout. So no actual hardware was announced yet, but they are at least formalizing and locking in that spec, which is, the first step to actually getting us there into having Wi-Fi Matter devices. I also expect that we're going to have devices just rolling out via software updates. Like I am a big fan of the Eero routers. That's what I use at home. And I would bet that Amazon would roll out like a Wi-Fi Amazon Matter update to the Eero routers to bring them in line with that if there was anything they needed to do just to make sure and kind of formalize that certification. Because I don't have any problems with my, Matter devices, but this is a very good thing. Been a long time coming. I'm glad we're kind of getting it finally nailed down. On top of that, we had Google really teasing stuff. I think this was actually the week before, but they've continued to tease it. They are announcing that Gemini is coming to Google Home. To me, this is really highlighting where Apple is falling short. I hate to say that, but we all know that Apple's Assistant is behind the competition. And now Google is here announcing that their AI assistant is joining efforts with their smart home tech. And I think that is really exciting. And if anything, it just gives me hope on where Apple is going to be, hopefully come this spring. Hopefully that's what we're all expecting, right? Now, this new version or this Gemini Google Home integration, there's a few things that they're kind of touting, and one of them is something that I've been asking for ages, which is the ability to do combined commands. So I want to be able to say, hey, Apple Assistant, open the blinds in the living room, turn on the lights at 50%, and close or turn off the kitchen lights. I mean, even that little stutter in there should be manageable for, next gen version of Apple's Assistant to be able to handle. But right now, you have to do one thing at a time. Wait for it to go, then ask for the next thing. It's such an annoyance right now. So I think Apple needs to get that done. And Google is doing it with this new version of Gemini for Google Home. They're also expanding the voice assistant functionality beyond smart home controls. Like you'll be able to do grocery list planning, get suggestions for recipes, get more kitchen tips. So you'll be able to tell kind of like what you have in the fridge. You'll be able to give you some suggestions on how to prep stuff and do things like that, which again actually feels very much like something Apple should add to its smart home display when we get there. So I can see all that being baked in. And yes, there's also like this, you can leave things like open-ended and have more of a conversation, like that chatbot kind of style with your voice assistant. So it's like, oh, is there anything else you want to turn off? Like, actually turn off these two. Or you know what, take them down another 10%. Like that's not dim enough. Like, and have something that's a little bit more natural than it is now. And I really hope that Apple learns from this and we see some of this start to show up in the Apple Home as well. Okay, let's talk about Philips Hue, one of the biggest announcements coming out of IFA. Like, holy smokes, this was a huge one for Signify. So that's the parent company of Philips Hue brand. And there is a whole lot to talk about. So the big one, now I will say that a lot of this leaked on the show. Well, not leaked. I did not leak it. It was leaked from Hue Blog, who found it up on the Hue website, but we talked about it on the show previously. But a lot of the stuff we had already talked about, but now we have, final details, pricing, availability, all of that. And I'm pretty excited. I'm going to be upgrading some Hue products. I'm just saying that. So first there's the Hue Bridge Pro. This is now confirmed. It comes in the matte black color. It works in both Wi-Fi and Ethernet, so you no longer have to have this plugged into your router. You can run it all over Wi-Fi. Inside, they have a much more powerful processor and 15 times the original memory. They're able to really increase response times here, which I think is a huge deal for lights. Like, you want them to be instant, and Hue has historically been quite fast. So I'm really excited to see how much faster these new ones are controllable. The new model supports 150 lights and 50 sensors and switches. That is about triple what the original Hue hub did. So Signify is launching a new utility that you can use to migrate from your old hub to the new one. My guess, though, is we still might have some issues inside of Apple Home because, technically, you're adding the bridge to your home, and that brings in all the accessories, which are in all of those scenes. So if we migrate all of our accessories to the new bridge, technically it's a new bridge, and then that bridge has to be added into Apple Home, which would pull in all the lights. So my guess is we might have a little, annoyances when migrating specifically for Apple Home, but at least they're making a way to move all of your bulbs and switches to the new hub, so at least you don't have to reset and repair them all. So that's at least a little bit easier and a little bit more manageable. If you have multiple Hue bridges right now, they are launching a new utility by the year's end that'll allow you to combine multiple bridges into a single Bridge Pro. It's not available at launch, but it will be soon. This thing is coming out at $89.99, and it is available now. Then we have confirmation on the Hue Secure Video Doorbell. Like was leaked, it is a 2K camera. Looks pretty nice, has a glossy top, matte bottom, the lens is on the top, the button is on the bottom. There's a little recording light just below the lens that lets you know that it's recording. Nothing really crazy here. There is some cool stuff that they're doing, you can use the chimes inside, and those chimes can double as sirens if you're using the Hue motion detectors and contact sensors, so you can use it as an alarm or a security system for your house. You can also use this without the chime, so you don't have to use those. It is a hardwired doorbell, 2K resolution, no HomeKit, unfortunately, no HomeKit Secure Video or Apple Home at all, so it just works with the Hue app. But it's $199 and will come with 24 hours of free recording. They're also introducing new versions of the other Hue cameras that are getting 2K sensors and that same 24 hours of free recording, which before all recording, I think, was behind a paywall. Moving to the lights. Gosh, they have so much stuff. New lights. There is a new Essentials line. This includes standard E27 bulbs and GU10 bulbs. The bulbs are $25 each, and you can get a 4-pack for $60. They are using the same technology as the regular Hue bulbs, everything like that. But the big difference is they have reduced, they're not as bright, reduced brightness. They have not as low dimming, so you don't get as dim. And the range of whites is limited. It's not as accurate or as wide as the regular bulbs are. So, but honestly, $25 for a legit Hue bulb, why not? I mean, for core rooms like hallways and things like that, you don't need the expensive ones. I would for sure be picking these up, hands down, 100%. Now, for the kind of flagship bulbs, the new E27 bulb has reduced power consumption, 40% less power. It is able to reproduce daylight colors better and more accurately than before. And my favorite feature, new lower dimming at 0.2% of the total brightness. To me, that is huge, whether it's a bedroom, bathroom, even a hallway. I want to be able to get up and the motion detects me and then the lights come on, but I want it to be really low. I don't want to be woken up because the lights are there. And even our headboard light that we have now, sometimes Faith is why is the headboard light, turn it down? I'm this is 1%. This is as low as it goes. But if they're the Hue ones, now they can go to 0.2%, which is just really low. So I feel these are going in our bathroom, our master bathroom. I'm going to have to get, how many do we have? 6. I can need 6 of these for the bathroom, which will add up because these are still fairly expensive and they come in the white and the color versions. Another really nice feature that I did not know about in the original leak, though, is that these can now work with Matter over Thread, meaning you don't even need a bridge to use them. You can literally just connect these to Thread and use them on their own without a Hue hub. This is so cool. If you are doing an all Matter or an all Apple Home, you don't have to do any of the extra Hue stuff at all. You can just pick up these bulbs because they're fantastic bulbs and use them through the Home app or whatever ecosystem it is that you're using. So that is fantastic. You still need that Thread border router, Nanoleaf stuff, Apple TV, HomePod, those types of things. But super cool that they were able to add that native stuff in there. So new classic bulbs, $15.99 for the pure white ones, $34.99 for the white ambiance, and $60 for the white and color ambiance. Now, moving on, there are new light strips. We have new ones rolling out through the end of the year into 2026, depending on where you are in the world, US or in Europe. There are new indoor and outdoor ones. They have improved things like better gradients and more diffusing and tighter spaced LEDs so that they're close together. There's no gaps in between. They have the festival lights that we talked about. There's the new globe lights that look really cool. They come in 7, 14, and 21-foot lengths. The 7-foot launch is first here in September. The 14 and 21 will be launching in December. Pricing starts at $159 with the power supply included, though you can get them without the power supply if you wanted to. Then they do have the permanent outdoor lights. Those, again, launching in the US first. $299 for the base unit with extensions of at $119. They're 18 meters long and the extensions are 9 meters long. These are pretty cool. I have the Matter ones right now from Ecobee installed, and they work fantastic. So I'm not going to be upgrading mine to the Hue ones, but the Hue stuff is just so good, and the pricing on that, not bad at all. So if you're still kind of holding off on some actual legit outdoor lights, like permanent outdoor lights in your home, maybe these are the ones to check out. Okay, we have seriously so much more to get through, but I want to take a break. Thank your sponsor for the episode, and we'll get back to all the IFA news. It goes by another week, more Shopify. Shopify is seriously so cool from beginning to end. It's just one of those products that I really connect with. Like, I did so much stuff in like the software as a service space. I ran digital marketing. I ran training and everything like that. I built websites and I've done like e-commerce stuff. And there's so many different things in there. And you really get like nickel and dime by a million different companies for things. What I like is that Shopify has so much of this covered for you, and they make it easy. Like if you're starting a company, I love you're selling some knick-knack paddywhacks that you made, you can just literally know nothing about a website or selling or shipping or tariffs or rates, whatever, tax stuff. You don't have to know almost anything. You can spin up a site in like an afternoon and start selling. It's that easy to do. And then as you grow, it can start to fill in with additional features that allow you to scale as you need, right? So that way you're not a little person who is buying something way above their needs, and you're not on the high end and you have something that doesn't meet your needs. Like it literally meets you where you are and grows with you. As you start to encounter some of these problems, they fill in those gaps for you. So, you start growing, you start having a physical store and an online store. They can do ship to store and in-store pickup and make those types of things easy. They start to be able to do things like being able to generate gift card codes and promo codes and fun things like that can help you with your marketing and expand all that out. And then by the time that you get to the largest level of all, you can have a fully custom built Shopify site with amazing integrations, doing all sorts of things to optimize your flow, like things that Shopify doesn't even do. Like one of my favorite ones is how there's legit plugins for doing things like protecting shipments. So if you're selling something, then they can like add insurance to their shipment, and that way you as the company don't have to worry about lost shipments because they either got insurance or they didn't, and you're able to help them out in that way. So I love so many of these different things that Shopify offers that are just great for people who are selling. They do so many things, and it's great for consumers too. It's not just something that on the back end you're going to like as the tech people or the owner or anything like that. Customers love it too because it's a solid site. It's a fast site. You recognize that checkout process, which makes you feel safe and secure, and that should something go wrong, that Shopify has your back. And you can do things like use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Shop Pay. Really easy to convert those people in checkout, by the way. And then once your order is placed, you can track it all in the Shop app. And the Shop app has additional features like the AI shopping assistant to give you other recommendations based on what you buy. I say it all the time, but it's perfect for during the holidays to help find gifts for people based on what you already buy. So, Faith and I find really cool stuff. Shopify helps a lot in the Shop app. So try it out now if you haven't already. So many tech companies use this for a reason. Allbirds, Rothy's, Brooklinens, Nomad, 12 South, Moment. I can't even think of them all because they just keep adding onto this list. So turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/HomeKit. It's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/HomeKit. Shopify.com/HomeKit. Back to the IFA news, because we're not slowing down. There is so much we got to talk about. Legrand has some new Matter-enabled smart lighting solutions. It's part of their Radiant collection. Now, they have really easy onboarding. They tell, like, these are all mostly like switches and stuff, by the way. They have the Matter QR codes on there, so they're easy to set up. Convenient compatible, Matter compatible hub, including Apple Home. Control them remotely using Wi-Fi, so they're Wi-Fi switches, and very energy efficient. So lots of stuff there. A lot of people have Legrand stuff in their home. Well, now they're expanding that portfolio as well. We have Ecobee. This is huge news. This isn't necessarily IFA, I guess, but it was announced at the same time. This is pretty cool, and I already know the comments you guys are going to say, so we'll address it at the end. But first, Ecobee is integrating into Apple Home as a security system. So Ecobee already has several smart products, right? You have your doorbell, you have your camera, you have your motion sensors, you have your contact sensors, and you have the thermostat. So Ecobee is already offering like a security solution. You can get it just by your own monitoring or professional monitoring for your home. What happens is you're able to like leave, it tracks your location, it watches you on the different cameras and everything, and arms your house, right? Kind of a typical security solution. But now that security system, whether you're doing your own monitoring or the professional monitoring, is able to be integrated into Apple Home, just like the Abode IOTA camera and security system does. So now you can arm and disarm from your phone by using Apple's voice assistant, by building it into scenes. So you can have it turn on, arm the security system every night, or as you come and go, all of those sorts of things natively through Apple Home. So, of course, the elephant in the room, Ecobee is putting many of its features behind paywalls. And yes, this falls into that category as well. From my understanding, you do have to be paying for like the smart security to be able to use this feature. And in some ways, it makes sense because you are like without paying for it, that you don't have the feature. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I know, I'm circular talking. You can only get smart security by subscribing, if that makes sense. So like you're getting like your thermostat features, the camera features, all of those things. But then when you subscribe to smart security, then you actually get like the home monitoring protection stuff, whether it's you or through the security team to watch over your house. So when you are subscribed to that is of course then why you would get integration into Apple Home. Because if you're not paying for your smart security, you're not having the security in the first place. So they're not like putting like the HomeKit features behind a paywall. They're putting the same existing smart security feature behind the same paywall. So that didn't really change at all. It is just for people who are already using that feature to get additional benefit out of it. So I still think that is good, but I understand why people are frustrated with Ecobee adding features that are exclusive to paying members. The only kind of like angle to it that is helpful is if you have like an Ecobee doorbell, which doesn't support HomeKit Secure Video, and you're paying for that storage, because that smart security plan gives you storage for the camera as well as this home monitoring and security and stuff like that. So it is an easy way to get into it if you have some Ecobee cameras. Like the indoor one does have HomeKit Secure Video, but the doorbell does not. So if you're like using the doorbell, which is a very good doorbell and does work with HomeKit, just regular vanilla HomeKit for like detecting people, getting motion alerts, and popping up on your Apple TV, chiming your HomePods, all of that stuff, you get that added benefit of like, okay, I'm going to pay for the cloud recording for that doorbell, but I also get the smart security thing, which I can arm and disarm now through HomeKit. So I know it's a little bit workaround, but this is seriously like the only other one we've had, mainly besides the Abode IOTA. I believe Aqara also does this to a degree. So it's just nice to have another option in the running, and hopefully we'll see some more actually kind of roll out at some point in the future. Then we have Arlo. Arlo has a ton of new cameras coming out. I'm not going to go through everything in super fine detail because there's not a ton of new features, honestly. A lot of them are kind of like core upgrades, but we do have stuff to talk about when it comes to like HomeKit and everything like that. So first, the kind of the big news that people are more excited about is Arlo Essentials pan and tilt cameras. So these are wide space coverage that allow you to actually move the cameras. So they have a 2K version and an HD version priced at $50 and $35 for the indoor one, and then like the outdoor one is $60 and $50 respectively for 2K and HD. We have the Essential Series cameras like their regular ones. There is the indoor camera plug-in, $40 for 2K, $25 for HD. The security camera plug-in, so I believe that's indoor outdoor, that is $50 and what's that, $40. The Essential Security Camera 3rd Gen battery powered, that's $70 for 2K, $50 for HD. Then the Essentials XL Security Camera 3rd Gen battery operated, $80 for 2K and $70 for HD. For the Pro Series, the ones that I am technically usually more interested in, the Pro Security Camera 2K 6th Gen, $125, and the Pro XL Security Camera 2K 6th Gen is $199. And there is a new version of the Ultra, so the Ultra Security Camera 4K, 3rd generation, finally, is $199. Now, as far as what will work with HomeKit and what will not, here's where we're at. So consumer availability on these first ones is going to be 9/4, so they should already be out. The Essential Security Camera 3rd Gen battery, Essential XL Security Cam 3rd Gen battery, Pro Security Camera 2K 6th Gen, Pro XL Security Camera 2K 6th Gen. All those availability on 9/4 and support Apple Home out of the box when paired with the Arlo Smart Hub. The Ultra Security Camera 4K 3rd Gen, that comes out on 9/25, and again, we'll have Apple Home out of the box. These ones are coming in 2026 for Apple Home. The Essential Pan Tilt Indoor, Essential Pan Tilt Security, the Essential Indoor Camera 3rd Gen plugin, and Essential Security Camera plugin. I know, it is a lot here. The other things that Arlo is adding into this, I believe, is more AI-powered stuff, which is very interesting to me. They say it is better at understanding what's happening in their homes and more accurate than before. So more AI stuff. That is all very good. I'm excited to see it. A bunch of upgrades to these camera lines. So if you are an Arlo fan, if you've been using their cameras, I have been. I have several of them. These are solid upgrades there with varying levels of Apple Home support, and I'm glad that at least we got however many that is. We're trying to see out my original email. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 supporting Apple Home, like off the rip, and then 5 more coming in. Right, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming in 2026. So that's pretty solid support for Apple Home. We have Dolby Vision 2. Dolby Vision 2 has been announced, which is great for anyone in the smart home space, in the theater space, the Apple TV space. This is huge. Dolby Vision is basically the GOAT of HDR, far better than like HDR 10 and 10 Plus, which have super lax requirements for TV manufacturers. Like Dolby Vision was very particular. Now Dolby Vision 2 is going even further and fixing a few things that I think people are going to be excited about. First, it's getting split up into 2 different tiers. There's Dolby Vision 2, and then there's Dolby Vision 2 Max. The Max one will have even higher requirements, and that's really for like your high-end elite TVs, like mini LED, really fancy stuff going on. And with that situation, it's going to have its own level of specs to require, but most of them will be sticking with just the regular Dolby Vision 2, which is still a good improvement. Now, they're combining their kind of room awareness stuff with Dolby Vision HDR to make Dolby Vision 2. And the biggest thing that I think this is going to fix is when TV shows and movies are too dark. They're too dim. It's actually going to be able to use an ambient light sensor in your television to know the brightness in the room and adjust your TV so you can actually see what is happening. I have had this happen so many times. It is insanely frustrating. And I am so happy that they are addressing it with Dolby Vision 2. Now, of course, you're going to need everything to support it, right? You're going to need your TV to support Dolby Vision 2, which right now is only Hisense. Then you're going to need your content to support Dolby Vision 2. Then you're going to need your streaming box or your source media, your streamer, which is going to be, for hopefully most of you, Apple TV. And I don't know, I can't imagine Dolby Vision 2 is going to be that much more hardware intensive for the actual box or the streamer. My guess it's going to be more intensive for the TV itself. Obviously, you're going to need that ambient light sensor to be happening to do things. So you're going to need a new TV to get this to work. But I imagine Apple will add this either to the new Apple TV 4K or even like the latest third generation Apple TV 4K. But it's not in tvOS 26 yet, but I do believe that it will come eventually. Okay, so Bosch has more Matter devices. So Bosch had their original like fridges and appliances that had Matter. Well, now they are launching their first robotic vacuum cleaner. It's the Bosch Spotless robotic vacuum cleaner. There are 4 configurations with the high-end models having a little spinning mop that's going to get into the corners. Other than that, kind of a lot of common stuff here. I don't really see anything that is super unique to Bosch, but I've never tried, one of their vacuum cleaners. 11 pascals of suction, laser navigation, there's mopping, docking station, again, industry standard kind of stuff. Automatic dust emptying, mop cleaning, and heated drying. So, yeah, we'll see. There's no launch date or price yet, but Bosch makes some really good things, so I'm still curious at how this would actually stack up. Then we have, I swear, they did such a good thing. I swear, I had the page open here somewhere on my 30 browser tabs to talk about, but this is pretty cool. Ecovacs has a new robotic vacuum cleaner, a new flagship that is coming out, and they did a lot of nice things. I really am excited about this one, and it looks pretty darn slick too. So this is the Deebot X11 Omnicycle robotic vacuum and mop. Let's hit these specs. So first, 19.5 pascals of suction, definitely on the high side. We've seen higher, but very much on the high side. Has the latest Osmo roller, and this new one has like 165 degree water that it actually is like washed with as it's going. So you're getting like hot water to help scrub the floor and everything, but you're also like sanitizing the mop as it's going. So it like double whammy there of like that heated water in there. It also can detect the level of grime on your floor and can automatically, intelligently switch between 2 different cleaning solutions on how much it needs to like fight with your floor. So that is also really, really cool. Then there is this new, they have a name for it. I don't know if I can find it in time to actually tell you what it is on the show, but they have this new climbing system that they put in there. Now, it won't go up over steps or anything like that, but it is able to go over things up to, okay, they call it True Edge 3.0. Nope, that's not it. That's for the mop. I can't find it. But it can climb things up to 4 centimeters in height. So, honestly, I've had a few robotic vacuum cleaners that struggle over, like, I swear, like the 1 centimeter little transition strip between our kitchen and, like, our hallway. Like, they'll have to attack it from multiple angles to finally get up there. This thing should handle that no problem because, like, these little levers that hit it and then it lifts up and can go up to 4 centimeters in height, which is pretty darn good. Other cool features here, they have this new charging technology. So they're using GaN, gallium nitride charging. So every time it goes back to the docking station to like refill water, empty out, anything like that, it quick charges. And it's able to do that to keep you going longer. It gives you all these little boosts of charge as it goes. So it doesn't have to like stop and actually recharge for a significant period of time. Like they say 6% in 3 minutes. That's pretty darn good. So I do like that because I'm doing a whole home clean. Yeah, I'm going to need that quick charging technology for sure. The last thing with this one is the OmniCyclone technology, I think, which the short version of it is it allows you to empty out the dust from the robot without needing bags. Huge deal. Who wants to keep buying those replacement bags for inside of their docking station? So this has like gray down the sides and like a clear chamber in the center that looks really cool, and it suctions everything up. Then you can just pull it out and empty it. So you no longer have to buy bags for this thing. So I know. I'm selling it a lot here. I think this is a really, really good vacuum cleaner. This one is coming out now. It is $1,300 for launch. It's actually $1,500, but for the next week or so, they have $200 off. So $1,300, and yes, it does work with Matter out of the box. So you're going to get Apple Home support, Apple's voice assistant support, all of that. Definitely a lot of props for this thing. They did a great job. Okay, let's talk about one more robotic vacuum cleaner situation, which is Anker sub-brand Eufy. Eufy has a new robotic vacuum thing called the Marswalker. Yeah, this is pretty neat. So it works with the Eufy S2 robotic vacuum cleaner, which is a good vacuum on its own. But this is like an exoskeleton. So your robot's going to go out, going to clean your floors, like in your main area. Then it's going to go back to the docking station, put on this exoskeleton. Then it's going to go to your stairs, climb your stairs. Then it will remove itself from the exoskeleton, clean your second floor or your lower floor, whatever it happens to be, get back in the exoskeleton, traverse the stairs backwards, and then go back to the docking station. Really, really cool. This will be coming out in 2026, but I love it. I love the idea here because everyone's been trying to do a single unit, right? A single robotic vacuum cleaner that can climb steps. And we've seen some that have done it. But the kind of like optional add-on, one, it makes it a little more approachable. You can pick up one, then add the exoskeleton later if you want, but it also allows you to have it and when you need it and not have it when you don't. So your robot doesn't have to be huge the rest of the time and just puts that on when it needs to go up the steps, then takes it off again. So I think that is really, really cool. I love it. I think they did a very good job with that. It's just pretty sweet. Moving on to Aqara. Aqara has a bunch of things as well. I cannot keep up with all these companies, and I'm hoping I get you as many reviews of this, all these things as I can when I have literally time to breathe. So Aqara has several things, including the G400 video doorbell. This is Aqara's first wired doorbell, which I'm pretty excited for. So it joins the other two wireless doorbells that they have. They have like the 40 and the 410, something like that. But yeah, so this is a wired one, and it has 2K video resolution, 165 degree field of view, and it can be wired over like traditional wiring or PoE. So you got options for those who want PoE. This is the first HomeKit secure video doorbell that's not made by Robin Proline that'll work with PoE. So that is very cool to me. It does support HomeKit secure video, like I said, so that is a big deal. And it'll of course use the Aqara app for extra stuff like that. Then there is the outdoor security camera G510. This is its first battery-powered outdoor camera, 2.5K sensor, and has a built-in solar panel to charge the internal battery. I'm going to have to get this too. Like, that sounds perfect. High resolution solar panel, like integrated into one thing. I'm pretty excited by that. Especially with how good the Aqara cameras have been. I'm going to have to try that too. Then there is the Home Station M410. This is a hub that is able to extend the range of your Aqara cameras and can give you 24/7 recording. You can record to a local hard drive, an SSD, or a micro SD card, but it also acts as a Matter hub. They do have a radiator thermostat for the EU. There's the Hub to M200 that works as a thread border router, Matter bridge, and a Matter controller. And then the M200 can also act as an IR blaster, which is exposed via Matter into Apple Home. So yeah, Aqara has a few things going on, and we're not even at CES yet. You know, we're 2/3, 3/4 the way through the year. It's been a busy time. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk about is SwitchBot. SwitchBot has a couple announcements here that are not necessarily Apple Home, but I think you'll understand why in a minute. Now, they do have a new version of its hub. It's the SwitchBot AI hub, and they're basically combining some of their AI abilities, like local abilities, with their existing hubs that are out there. So they're able to detect things kind of like how an Apple TV or a HomePod monitors your video streams and then gives you like those AI events like package detection, things like that. So one of the SwitchBot's example is there's an elderly person falling, and you can use that as an automation trigger to do something. So it's using some of like those cameras and things that are already in your home to process locally via AI and then use those for automations. So I think it's really cool. We've talked about AI and kind of taking over the smart home, and we're starting to see that more and more. This is not the first AI announcement we've had in this episode between Gemini, Arlo, SwitchBot, all are using AI in different ways. So this is going to be a big upgrade over the Hub 3 that has been out there. Dual band Wi-Fi, extended Bluetooth, 32 gigs of built-in storage, manages 8 2K cameras, and it can support over 100 SwitchBot devices and bridges up to 30 products in a Matter ecosystem, and it's powered by a 6T AI chip. So really interesting, should support Matter and Apple Home in many ways. So basically replacing like their Hub 3 that they've had out there. So a little bit of Apple Home, but this isn't what I'm excited about. They have a new AI art frame. I love the art stuff. I don't know why. Like, even though like the frame TVs aren't great from Samsung and some of the even competitors aren't amazing TVs, like the art capabilities are really, really cool and really good. I love I don't even have it hanging out. It's on the floor behind me, but the Sonos Symphonisk art pieces that were like the frames that they did, that were speakers that you had different grills you could put over them. You could even buy like custom ones that you made that look like art. I just think are so fascinating and so cool. And this is a little bit like that. So these are a e-ink Spectra 6 display, and they come in 7.3, 13.3, and 31.3 inch sizes. And they fit into standard frames. It's e-paper, and you can either upload your own artwork, you can generate artwork, or they have ones that are in there. It is really cool. They have like a locally trained AI model in the app to help generate artwork that goes into these frames and goes on the wall. But I like that they're e-paper, so they're going to look very matte compared to a lot of the photo frames that are kind of out there. They just look really, really neat to me. And they also can last 2 years on a single charge, which I think is pretty sweet. Like, they are battery powered, so there's no wires hanging down or anything like that. So I am 100% on board for those, and I gotta try them out. Now, that is not even close to the announcement. I know there are more. Nebula, one of Anker's brand, has like their X1 Pro portable projector, which is insane. 4K triple laser system that you can bring with you that has like detachable speakers. Like, that's a whole thing that's hitting Kickstarter. I know Bosch, I think, has a Matter motion sensor that was launching. I think IKEA got some certifications for a bunch of its Matter devices that are launching early next year. Like, there's a lot, and I cannot touch on all of it in this episode. Some of it is just light on details. Other than that, we've had a very busy episode already, and I'm still excited to talk to you next week following the Apple event. We're going to have some more guests on here very, very soon. So if you guys have questions over anything, please be sure to let me know. Write to me at andrew@appleinsider.com. Many of you have. You can also let me know on the YouTube version of this. Watch the video version of all of this and me freaking out. I actually got a haircut that doesn't look terrible. But you can see the video version of this at youtube.com/HomeKit Insider. You can let me know on Twitter or other social medias, Andrew_OSU, or at least something similar. Otherwise, give this podcast a 5, 10, 100-star rating on your podcast player of choice. And I will see you all in the next episode.